Yes, I'm quitting my 100K job to pursue day trading full time. You might be looking at me, looking at the camera, looking at your phone, looking at your laptop, looking at your TV screen. Like, what is this bozo talking about? He wants to day trade. He wants to take one of the riskiest things you could ever do, the riskiest things you could ever do, and trade. He's making six figures. He has a health insurance, dental insurance, the whole shebang, making well over 100K, working finance, got the nice little apartment. He's giving it all up so he could trade. What is this clown doing? You might be thinking like why is this kid doing this to himself? And let me give it to you like this. Let me first start off why I left the job, the corporate American lifestyle, right? Yes, on paper it looks good. I worked at some of the best firms you could work at. Honestly, I'll just say it. Fidelity Investments, I worked at Morgan Stanley, and I worked at Goldman Sachs. You make a substantial amount of money if you've heard of those companies, right? I'm assuming you have, maybe not. So I was making a pretty penny working in wealth management. At the end of the year or quarterly would get bonuses. And I went to school, went to UConn to study finance. And I just picked finance because I knew I wanted to make a lot of money. But I didn't realize going into college, graduating, finance was so broad. I never wanted to work in wealth management. Wealth management means you work with advisors. And I essentially was the advisor's like assistant, right? I would sit in on client meetings. We would open accounts. I would transfer money for them. I'd place trades for them, like trades they would call in about, saying like, hey, Zaire, can you buy 10 shares of Apple or 100 shares of Apple for me? So I would do that for them, a lot of admin work. And then the advisor is more the relationship builder. They build these relationships. In my mind, I thought, oh, if you're an advisor, then I could trade in my clients' accounts. That's completely false. You don't do that at all. Like I spent 8 years doing that, or 8 years alongside the advisors. Advisors don't even do that. They talk about financial planning. They talk about, oh, you have a significant purchase. Let's allocate more money into conservative assets as opposed to the stock market. Let's allocate that. Let's allocate this. It's not actually trading, which I thought it was for a little bit. Honestly, I didn't even really know. I just took whatever job I could get. So like that might all sound good, right? What I just mentioned to you. But I got tired of the monotony. I got tired of the mundane, same old routine. Seeing people around me, seeing people who were more senior than me. I got tired of seeing them doing the same thing every day. Like I had a conversation with my manager. He's like, oh, you see the guy over here? It was like a guy like 50 years old. He'd be like, if you keep it up, you'll be in his shoes one day. I look at the dude. He looks depressed. He's out of shape. His posture's fucked up. And he's making a decent living. I would expect like 200K, right? Maybe. And in my mind, like a lot of people's minds, that's a lot of money. I mean, it is a lot of money. But in my mind, I've always, and like since a young age, like 15, 16, right? Me and my boy, one of my best friends, we were like, I would never be average. Like we're never going to be just getting by through life, just being average, being the norm, right? And then as I actually reflected, there's been a couple nights where I've like really had some introspection where I looked at my life from the outside looking in, and I looked around at myself and I was like, I'm doing the things that I said I wouldn't do. I'm doing the things that most average people do to live a life that I don't even want to live, to have the 2 car or the 2 dogs, 2 kids, 2 cars, live in a suburban neighborhood, have 2 vacations a year. The biggest thing for me was more so getting out of a routine I didn't want to be in, right? Like, yeah, I mentioned that guy. He was a little bit older, making, I know I said 200K, but that's like, if that's really pushing it. It was probably more like 140, 150. But it was more so just the day-to-day, making someone else's dream come true, right? The day-to-day, you always have a boss. You always have someone telling you when you can use the bathroom, when you can do this. You got to hop in this meeting. You got to do this at this time, right? They're putting in the 60, 70, 80-hour weeks, right? I see all these people staying in the office. They get to the office before me. I'm thinking I'm there early at 7:30, and dudes are already in there, already had their breakfast, like already put in an hour and a half before me, and I'm leaving, say like 6:30, some days 7, because I'd be studying for like these exams, like the Series 7, things like that. I'd put in 2-3 extra hours, and dudes are getting food, coming back to the office and still grinding. And I respect that if that's what you want to do. But I'm not going to put in I'm not going to put in 80-hour weeks if this is not the life I want to live, right? You can live a better than average lifestyle. It's pretty average, but you can live somewhat high middle class, right? With that life I was headed towards. But in my mind, that's just average. Going back to what I was saying before, me and my boy were like, yo, we always had the mindset of working for ourselves. And it's not even about the money. Like, I went into finance, yeah, because it's about the money. But as I witnessed and like I saw the day-to-day of how these certain corporate jobs function, it's not even, I'd rather make way less money and work for myself, or way less money doing something I'm actually passionate about. And in my case, it's trading. Even though trading does involve money, right? I'm doing it in a way where I'm not money focused, if that makes sense. I'm doing it more so for the freedom and more so for the time it allows me to do other things. Because market opens 9:30. I'm looking at the charts for an hour, hour and a half max all day. And then I have from 11 to the rest of the day to do whatever I want. I can place any trades at any time that I want, right? There's no set routine. There's no set guidelines I have to follow. There's no set meetings I have to hop into. I don't have to talk to anyone before placing a trade. It's all on me. There's pros and cons to that being on you, because with trading, there's so much freedom to do whatever you want. But also, you can lose lots of money if you have no structure. So in order to have the freedom that trading creates, you need to have structure. It might seem counterintuitive. It might seem like an oxymoron, if that's the right term, right? But in order to have freedom with trading, you need to have a rigid structure with trading, meaning you have set risk analysis or set risk protocol. If your set risk is $250, that's the most I'm gonna lose. My TP is $750. It's 3-to-1 risk to reward ratio. Any person in their right mind would take $750 in a day, right? If you can do it within an hour and a half. Some people don't even make that in a week. You're making it in minutes potentially. But you have to abide by those rules, especially when it comes to the risk. Because there's been times where I put on trades when I've been doing this for a little minute now, but it's getting to the point where I'm starting to make it like I'm getting to the point where it can be my full on only thing I do. But I do have a side job working at a winery at the moment to sustain the expenses, right? I don't want to rely solely on the trading income, because that's not how you should do it at all. I feel like you should always still do something on the side and then supplement that with the trading income, because it can fluctuate. There could be green weeks, green months, right? And then you could also have red days, red weeks, red months, depending on the market sentiment, right? And depending on your style of trading, depending on swing, day, scalp. There's so many freedoms it allows. But if you have absolutely no structure, which a lot of people I've noticed who want to get into it because they see these people on Instagram or on YouTube who like driving the Lambos, the Ferraris and all that. They see this, so that's all they think of is the actual money. I don't do it for the money, I do it for the freedom, which is very different. Like, I don't even look how much I'm up or down on a trade. I already have my set stop loss, my set TP. So if it hits, cool. I'm just focused on the charts, what the charts are doing, and I could look at charts all day. Even though I don't do that, I'm so passionate about learning and so passionate about like the art of trading that the money is just a side effect. And the money is just something that comes with the trading, which is like a win-win situation for me because I'm able to make money from home, money from my laptop, money from my desktop, and I have the freedom to really do what I want and actually live a life as opposed to being stuck in a queue, being stuck doing something I don't want to do because that was mainly the corporate setting I was in, right? You're in the little 8x8 cube or whatever, and you're always doing something your boss or manager wants to circle back on, or they want to do the, like, you know what I'm saying, the buzzwords, the corporate buzzwords they mentioned. So I kind of got tired of that. And what really like struck the chord, what really made me realize like, I can really make a living off trading is when I was in Colombia. I was down in South America and I brought my laptop with me. And on 2 days, there was like 2-3 days of trading. I was able to pay for the entire trip I was there. I think I was there for like 8 days, 10 days. Those 2-3 days, I was able to pay for the trip. And that wasn't my goal. My goal was to just trade how I normally trade. I try to go based off a weekly profit, a weekly percent of my portfolio. And it just so happened that I was able to pay for my trip and then some. And that like brought the light bulb moment. Okay, I could really do this. Like, I could really lock in and do this. And I have the abilities to do it, so why not? So if you're in a similar situation where you're considering trading like as a full-time gig, full-time thing, you got to start learning the skill prior to leaving. And I say always just have something on the side, like some sort of side income. Like, I'm always going to be doing something on the side until I'm making like a substantial amount of money, right? I'm still going to be doing like part-time work because I enjoy working at the winery. I enjoy doing these things because it allows me the freedom to actually trade because I'm working at the winery at the night, right? I could trade in the morning. I only need like an hour. If I even take a trade, right? I don't trade every single day or every weekday. So if you're considering it, make sure you have your expenses covered through some sort of side job or through your savings or something. Because once you make that decision to dip, it really hits you. Once that paycheck doesn't hit from your corporate job or your regular 9 to 5, it really hits like, damn, I dipped out of there, right? You got to live below your means for a little bit, but you're going to reap the benefits in the long term once you actually learn the skill of trading. There's plenty of methods, right, on how you could trade. We all trade differently. We all have different structures, which is the beauty behind it. But yeah, if I could do one thing for the rest of my life, it would be trading 100%. And I feel like you do have to be obsessed with something in order to be good at something. And in my case, that's trading, but in your case, it could be something different. So find that thing that you're obsessed with. Find that thing that wakes you up every day. Because that 9 to 5 just wasn't it, kid. That cubicle just wasn't it, kid.